Hey guys, welcome back to another Regular Dude Fishing video. I'm the Regular Dude John, and we are going to clean this big head Asian carp. This is the one of the ones that I caught in the previous video when we were bait fishing down at the Lake Barkley and the Barkley Dam. So I have never, this is the first one I've ever caught. This will be the first one I've ever cleaned or messed with at all. I don't know anything about them. So remember that when you're leaving crappy "you can't fillet fish" comments. I've never messed with one. I did watch a video on YouTube. Well, I watched part of the video on YouTube, so everybody knows that pretty much qualifies me now as an expert in Asian carp. So having said that, I'm going to use my, this is a large fish. I'm going to use my extra large fillet knife. This was made by Wallace Knife Works, Ricky Wallace, and this thing holds a crazy good edge. And it's extra large, so that way when I'm skinning the meat off of the fillet, I've got plenty of knife to work with. I think he only charges like 60 bucks for these things, man, and they're all handmade and they're awesome. Anyway, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a paper towel. This guy is almost frozen solid still from being in the cooler with the salt water brine mixture, and that's exactly what it's supposed to do. It freezes stuff. I'm just going to take a paper towel and kind of dry them off. On this side that I'm going to be working on here that keeps from slipping. I'm in the kitchen because it's raining outside, and I just put down a couple of these little wee pads, puppy pads, whatever you want to call them, to help contain the mess, and it makes it a little bit easier. Now I was watching those videos and they said that there's like a pine cone shaped bone up here, and I can feel it. So they said you don't really want to mess with that, and it feels like it ends to me about right here. So I'm going to start my cut right there at the end of that bone. Nope, feel like I caught the end of it. Start it again, a little bit over to the left or to the right. There we go. Get past it and come back behind this pectoral fin right here. The skin is pretty thick on these, so I'm probably going to send this skin down to Ricky so he can use them as a knife sheath material. Well, they're still, there we go. Now I'm at the end of that bone. I can see the end of that edge of that bone right there. And the guys that I've seen, they just kind of fillet them like any other fish. I'm gonna go right down the backbone here to the tail. I'm gonna start working that meat off of the spine here, down to the ribs and down to the spine. And like I said, I don't know if it helps or hurts that the fish is frozen. I actually think it helps a little bit. There's the spine. Doing this a little awkward because I'm trying to have the light where you guys can see what I'm doing here. But where I have it where you guys can see, it makes it where I can't see. Alright, I'm on the rib cage. Working down the bottom part of the spine here. They do got a pretty tough skin on them. I didn't scale it. Go back up to the rib cage. I don't know if I'm supposed to bring it off of the rib cage or if I trim it off. Doesn't seem to be like there's much meat right here on the rib cage. I can feel the ribs. You got a pretty big rib cage on them. I can feel them about right there, and it doesn't feel like there's any meat on there, so I'm probably just going to trim it like we would with a bass or a bluegill. Like that. Where the ribs stop. Wow, man, that's a long rib cage. And follow this down through here. Oops, sorry, that's getting in the way. And there we have our first Asian carp fillet. These are all ribs right through here, so I don't feel much meat at all on that rib cage, and it feels like they come all the way down, so I don't feel much belly meat on there at all. So I don't feel like I wasted anything on this fish. So what I'm going to do now is we'll go ahead and set this aside here. And we're going to take off the skin and have a look at the whole fillet. I'm just going to run my knife like this along the skin. You guys can see. Not the easiest thing to do. I cut the skin here. And it figures. Alright, you know what I'm going to do? Hang on a minute. Let me grab this cutting board. Maybe this will work a little bit better for the skin part here. There we go, that's better, rather than having to deal with that wee pad thing. Alright. There's the skin. It doesn't look too bad. I messed that one up on that side, but let's see what we got left here. Shave the rest of it off. Nice. That's a big old thick section of that red meat, and I'm going to trim that off too, because I am pretty sure I'm not a fan of the red meat on any other fish, and I just can't see that this is going to be any different. So I'm going to go ahead and shave this red meat off of here. Just like that. Get as much of it off as I can. And I got, it looks like a really nasty bloodline here, so I'm going to get rid of that. And like I said, this is the very first time that I've ever messed with one of these fish, so if it looks like I'm doing a crappy job on this, it's because I am, because I've never messed with one before. But I'm trying to not waste anything, and at the same time get decent, good, clean, usable meat, because I've heard through the grapevine that they're not bad eating fish if you can get them cleaned right. Alright, so that's bloodline out. A little piece of skin here that's going to be shaved off. I would recommend that you have a good sharp knife, whatever kind of knife you're using. Make sure that it is sharp. That makes this shaving the red meat and the skin and stuff like that, makes it a lot easier to do. Alright, now there is some Y bones in here. I guess you cut them right down the middle, right along where that bloodline was, and you separate your fillet into two parts. Oh yeah, I can feel them. And there's a series of little Y bones in here that need to come out. I can find them and peel them again. I think they run right along this line right here. I don't know if you can see this line that runs right through there. I think that's where they are. So they said you can run your knife down and you should be able to feel the bones. Yep, you can feel them. I can feel them right there. They are. Run my knife right along those bones, and on both sides, and it should be on this side, I think. Yep, they're there again. Like that. Down to the bone, and then you can turn your knife sideways and work that meat right off of the bone, right off of the Y bone. Let's see if we can get cut from this side here and get it separated. Alright, there's one little section of boneless carp. Now let's go back over on this side. Do the same thing against those Y bones there. And you can definitely feel them with your knife as you're running through there. Try to find the end of them here. I'm trying to do it all at an angle so that I could try to get as much of them bones and leave as much of the meat as I can. But you can see this little section here has got nothing but bone in it. And what I'm trying to do is find the ends of them so that I can get that meat right there off. There we go. And that is a really bony section. See if there's anything on here that can be, there we go. No, that's full of bones. That whole little section there was just full of those Y bones, man. That was a lot of bones. And they're big bones too. You can see that they're pretty good sized bone. Like that there is one bone in that fish, so this would be scrap, and this here is boneless. So that's the one fillet of the Asian carp. First time cleaning it. I mean, I'm sure that it gets a little easier the more you do it. Right off the bat, it already smells a little fishy to me. But you know, we got it. We pulled it out of the river, and I'm not gonna throw it away. I'm gonna try to eat it. I'm gonna try to use as much as I can of it. So. And I realized that it looks like this was butchered, and it really was. But I wanted to give an honest first time cleaning, boneless cleaning of one of these fish. I've seen a lot of videos on there, and there's a lot of guys who are, you know, experts, and they fly right through them, and they make it look real easy. And it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad to do it. This is what you got. Now in this lower section down here, there's another section of the Y bones that runs right along this bottom line. But I am not an expert. I am just a regular old dude who happened to catch a couple of these in the river, and I wanted to see with my own eyes and with my own hands how easy or difficult these things are to clean and fillet out and process. And like I said, I can feel there's more bones down in this section of the fish as well, right along this second little line here. And the fish is still kind of frozen, as you can tell. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it is what it is. And the bones supposedly stop right up around where the belly section is, which would have been right here. So that's definitely going to take some practice on cleaning these fish to figure out where these bones are and how they're all in there. So there we go. There's that second bone section. They are kind of a pain in the butt. Kind of pain in the butt. You see those are all bones there sticking up, them little Y bones, and there's a lot of them, and they're pretty big. In that back section there, that's come off of the belly part. So out of that big fillet, these are the boneless sections that we have now out of that, the one side of the carp. Doesn't look like a whole lot, but it's because it isn't. So, all right, we're going to get the rest of it cleaned up, and then we will cook part of it up and give it the old taste test. So once I get the rest of it clean, we'll fry some and see how it tastes. Okay guys, we've got we fried it just like we would, bass or anything else, in just regular cornmeal mix, and lard is what we fry everything in. I'm going to do a little taste test now. It's not bad, kind of oily. You can see the meat is it turns pretty white. It's not super flaky. It doesn't have a real strong fishy taste to it. Kind of mushy the flesh a little bit, maybe because it was frozen. But it's not bad. I think if I was going to eat these regularly, I would probably just, rather than trying to take apart the fillet with the Y bones, I'll probably just cook it and pick the Y bones out after it's done, like we do with bluegill or something. Cook them up whole, that way the whole fillet, and you can just peel the bones out. It's a lot easier after you fry them to pull the bones out. But this was a real honest first time messing with this Asian carp fish. It's not bad. I would eat them again if that's, if that's what the river gave me, then that's what I'll eat. I would say it's not my favorite fish. I would much prefer catfish and bass and stuff like that. But I'm not going to specifically target these fish for eating. And there you go. There you have it. There's my real, honest first time messing with Asian carp. Is my response. So, not bad, not good, kind of somewhere in the middle. Difficult to deal with as far as you're cleaning them if you're going to take out all the Y bones. But there you have it. I hope this helps. I hope you guys are interested in the Asian carp. You watch those specialists and you watch those professionals. They make it look real easy, and they make it seem like they taste just absolutely delicious. Myself, a regular old dude, I happened to catch a couple of them when I was fishing, and this is my opinion. So, just my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. You guys, thank you very much for watching. We'll try to get something else in the next video. So until the next video, you guys have a great rest of the day, and we'll catch you in the next video.
Fishing!